Okay, thanks everyone for joining the webinar. So we'll wait a minute for everyone else to join. And in the meantime, just let me know where you're actually calling in from. So I'm calling in from Zagreb, from Croatia. So if you can let me know from city and the country there where you're calling in from, this would be nice for me to have this information. And yeah, you can send this through the, if you're joining through Zoom, then you can use this Q&A panel. There you can send any messages. Okay, just while I'm waiting for your inputs, just two announcements here. So first one is that we are recording this webinar, and you'll be able to watch the webinar basically from the same page where you are watching this webinar now. So if you registered on Advisera page, then you will be able to see the recording on the same page where you registered. And if you registered through LinkedIn, then you will be, or through YouTube, then you will be actually able to see on the same page where you're watching the live webinar now. You will be able also to see the recording of this webinar. Okay, I see lots of input. So from Sweden, Birmingham, England, okay, Northeast US, Madrid, Spain. Okay, great. Thank you for letting me know. Great. Okay, so second announcement, and you will be able to download this presentation. And actually, at the end of the webinar, I'll let you know where you will find the link to download the presentation deck. Right, I think we can start now. So welcome to this webinar, how to use Conformio to speed up ISO 27001 compliance. My name is Dejan Kosutic, and I'm the main ISO 27001 expert at Advisera, a company that makes compliance easy to understand and simple to use. And this webinar today is, as I mentioned, streamed through Zoom, but also through YouTube and LinkedIn. And it will last approximately 50, maybe 60 minutes, depending on the number of questions that you'll have. And I'll try to make it as interactive as possible. So, by all means, please do send your questions as you actually want to ask them. So you do not have to wait for this Q&A session that we will have at the end. You can ask the questions as I go through my presentation. Okay, good. Now let me move on to this next slide. So basically, why is this important about, let's say, using tools for ISO 27001 implementation important? Because in most cases, companies find this implementation project pretty, I would say, complex, and it usually takes them lots of time, lots of, let's say, some other resources, financial resources, and so on. And basically, the idea of this kind of tools is that actually they can help you overcome part of these problems. Well, not all of these problems, but at least part of them. So basically what I'll show you today in this webinar is how to speed up ISO 27001 compliance using this Conformio software, this GRC software. And by the way, this GRC stands for governance, risk and compliance. This is the usual term that is used for this kind of type of a software. And yeah, this webinar today is intended, of course, for companies that need to go for ISO 27001 implementation and certification, but it's also interesting for consultants because, as you will see later on, the users of Conformio are, on one hand, companies that go for a certification that need some kind of a software, but on the other hand, consultants who actually want to help these companies work with 27001 and that want to actually help their consultancies to implement this standard faster. So basically, for both consultants and end users, this is an interesting webinar. I'll also show some features for both of these groups. Okay, so one of my main points today is really that this kind of software can significantly improve the speed of implementation. So by some estimates, let's say 50, maybe even 70% of the implementation time you can actually cut if you do use this kind of software. And of course, I'll show you this, what kind of features can be used to actually reduce this implementation time. Okay, so let's see some agenda, some items on the agenda for today. And by the way, you can let me know through this Q&A pane if you have any suggestions or any questions on which topics you would like me to focus on during the webinar. So if you want me to focus on and spend more time on a specific topic, then let me know through this Q&A pane. Okay, so first I'll show you what we identified are the most common problems that's companies that go for ISO 27000 implementation that they face. Basically I'll list 4 or 5 items there, and then I'll show you actually how Conformio helps you resolve some of these issues. Again, not all of these issues, because you cannot rely on a software to fully actually work for you, but I'll show you actually what the software can do and what the software cannot really do. So basically I'll explain you some things there. I'll also show you how does this pricing work for Conformio, what are the options, because there are several pricing plans there. I'll also briefly show how consultants actually can use Conformio, some specific features for consultants, and of course at the end we will have this Q&A session. Good, let me move on to these most common problems that we see companies typically face with ISO 27001. They typically don't have enough knowledge. So ISO 27001 is, well, unfortunately very complex, and very often people do not know actually how to tackle this, so they don't have enough knowledge on how to actually approach this kind of implementation. Of course, they don't have enough time. Unfortunately, everyone is busy and everyone wants to finish the work where they see that direct return on investment. So basically working with clients, creating new products, marketing, these kind of things, people typically see more, let's say, value in doing these things rather than implement ISO 27001. I understand this, and this is simply a fact of life. Anyway, a lack of money. In some cases, people also lack financial resources. They don't have enough funds actually to invest into this kind of implementation. In some cases, there is a problem of the involvement or commitment of the senior management. I've typically seen this problem more in larger companies, even maybe mid-sized companies, even though for smaller companies, because we also work a lot with smaller companies. In smaller companies, usually this is not a problem. In smaller companies, you will typically have either CEO or CTO directly involved in the project. But when it comes to companies of, let's say, I don't know, a couple of hundred employees, maybe a couple of thousand employees, then senior management might be, let's say, too far away from this kind of a project. And finally, you might have a problem with employee resistance, right? Basically, where employees are simply saying, this is not something that we have to do. Cybersecurity is not our issue. This is only taking our time. So these kind of things are very often a problem, not only in larger, but also in smaller companies. And basically, the point is, why I'm showing you this is that when we build Conformio, we try to actually tackle all of these 5 problems through various features, and this is exactly what I'll show in the next couple of slides, and actually next couple of screens, and show you how Conformio actually tackles these 5 problems. Okay, before I move on, we'll share now with you a link to an article, and it's called How to Use SaaS for Managing ISO 27000 Implementation Activities. So this is an article that gives you a kind of a general overview of how you can use this kind of a SaaS tool, software as a service. By the way, if you join the webinar through Zoom or through YouTube, then you can click click the link that you will see now in the chat window, and it will open right away in your browser. If you joined through LinkedIn, then because of some limitations in LinkedIn, you can't click these links. But the workaround there is that you simply copy the URL and paste it into your browser, and it will open normally. Anyway, let's move on to the next slide. And this is really how actually Conformio tackles this problem of lack of knowledge. Okay, So first of all, Conformio actually helps you with these implementation steps. It actually teaches you what are the most optimal steps in the implementation. It actually teaches you, shows you, let's say, clauses and controls, what do they mean, what the standard requires. It also includes this expert support, but actually let me come to this later. So let me first show the screen with implementation steps and audit and evidence. Just let me share the screen. Okay, so basically once you log into Conformio, what you will see as this first screen is are these implementation steps. So basically the idea here is that it gives you a clear, very clear idea on what exactly you need to do as part of this implementation. So you start with this first step, introduction, then you write this procedure for documented record control, then project plan, procedure for identification of requirements, and so on. So as you can see, it takes you exactly step by step what you have to take. And by the way, you will see these 4 stages. So the first stage is the project preparation. Second stage is risk management. That includes also this methodology, but also risk register, statement of applicability. And then you have this security documentation. So basically all the documents that you have to cover here. And then you have this preparation. This is the 4th stage, preparation for the external audit. Here you have several steps like internal audit, I don't know, management review, these kind of things. And then the 5th stage is basically what happens after certification. This is where Conformio helps you maintain this whole ISMS, information security management system, that you're building. So the point being here is that Conformio actually teaches you, it gives you the know-how, it gives you the knowledge on what are the most steps for the implementation. When it comes to this, when you come actually to the point where you actually are preparing for the audit, it also gives you an overview of all the documents that are needed, of course, in their status. But even more importantly, it gives you this overview of all the clauses and evidence that is needed for each of these clauses. So basically, when you open a particular clause, this is for clause 4 from ISO 27001. And when you want to actually read about this clause, you simply open it here. And basically here you have an explanation of this clause. Here you see it's explained what exactly the clause requires. It also describes what are the implementation methods. And it actually reminds you of what documents are needed actually to comply with this particular clause. Of course, it shows you the status. So basically, again, when it comes to lack of knowledge, I mean the problem of lack of knowledge, actually Conformio teaches you through this user interface on what are the most important, not only steps, but also clauses, and basically what are the requirements and how to find evidence for each of these clauses. Same thing there for Annex A controls. As you can see here, most of these clauses, I mean, this is of course a test count. For some of these clauses, the company is ready for the audit. For some of them, it's not. So if I open this where it's not ready for an audit, you can actually see that this particular thing is not actually ready yet, and this is basically what's missing for this particular clause. Okay, going back to my presentation. What also is included in Conformio features is this expert support. So this means that you're not dependent solely on the software. We also included in this package actually support support from our live experts, from people experts, not only some AI thing. So basically this is where you can actually schedule a call with our expert. And then this is where you can actually ask some questions. And typically, people, when they schedule these calls, ask questions. Okay, is this a particular type of scope appropriate for my company? Should I go for the whole company, only for the part of the company? They ask, I don't know, about risk assessment, how, what kind of assets they need to take into account, how to deal with suppliers. All of these questions are typically something that then they discuss with our experts. Okay, Alejandro is asking, can I implement ISO 9001 with Conformio? I would say not yet. We are now working on actually building a a new module for Conformio where you can actually implement 9001 as well. So this is basically on top of our list now, so I hope this will be ready in the first quarter of 2026. 𝗲𝗶𝗶𝘀𝗶 is asking, can we use Conformio for DORA and NIS2? Right now, no. So we currently didn't go. We are focused now on ISO standards for Conformio. So we currently don't have the plan to go for DORA and NIS2. Actually, for DORA and NIS2 we have different products. We have these documentation toolkits. So if you need the documents, if you already use some kind of another GRC software and you want to use documents, then we have a product called Documentation Toolkit, and I'll ask my colleague now to share the links to DORA Documentation Toolkit and NIS2 Documentation Toolkit, and you can actually use these templates even though that there is no automation like here in Conformio. All right, now let's move on to next item here. So this is included ISO 27000 training. So what you will see later on, I'll show you in some plans of Conformio, we also include another product which we called Company Training Academy, where you can actually train your employees and basically provide them with all the knowledge that they need for ISO 27001. Let me just briefly show you this. So when I share my screen, here you can actually see this other product, Company Training Academy, and this is basically a training platform. Here, and actually we include this training platform also in a price of Conformio, and I'll just briefly show you the lessons library here. So actually, when you go for these filters, you will see what kind of videos you have here, because this is a huge there is a huge video library, something like 400 videos or so. So there are DORA videos, GDPR, but what is important here, ISO 27001 videos here. So you can actually see lots of videos, and actually you can distribute these videos to your employees so that they can learn about ISO 27001. Let me just show you very briefly when I filter. So you see here, so structure of 27001 principles, introduction, key roles, documenting requirements, implementing benefits, and so on. So you can see many videos here. Yeah, management review, non-conformities, so all kinds of things around 27001. Something like, I think 50 or 45 or 50 videos for 27001 only. Okay, going back to my presentation. Yeah, so this is basically, these are 4 things that we actually do to tackle this thing for knowledge. ʗ𝗲𝗏 is asking, just to clarify, training is part of Conformio. So you actually use different login, so we are not, so technically these are 2 separate systems. So the Conformio is separate technically from this training academy. However, basically both of them are included in, you will see some of the plans, paid plans of Conformio, and I will show you this in a little bit later on in the presentation. ʗ𝗏𝗏𝗏 is asking, is there any service or product to automatically map 27001 with other controls like PCI DSS? We do not have this, but I know that I've seen lots of these, let's say, mapping documents on the internet. You can actually find them there. Okay, right, now let's see how Conformio actually tackles this lack of time. And what I'll show you are these document wizards, also automation of a risk register and statement of applicability, and it also enables you creation of tasks. So let me switch now to this to Conformio back. So one of the things that that you have is basically, first of all, Conformio contains all the documents that you will need for all the mandatory documents for 27001 and several optional documents that are not mandatory that we included. So here you will see this backup policy. By the way, this is an optional document. This is not a mandatory one. And what basically we included in Conformio is this step-by-step wizard, which actually takes you through the whole document and helps you fill out all that you need for that particular document, and where you can actually customize these documents for your specific needs. And when you do this, then you actually come to this online editor when you can actually see, let me just put it like this so it's easier to see the whole document. And this is actually a new feature in Conformio. I'm not sure if you tested Conformio maybe a month or two ago, but something like a week ago we launched this new feature where you actually can edit the whole document online in an online wizard, right? So basically this is how the document looks like. And then you can simply come here and basically, I don't know, delete anything, you know, and write something else. So basically it's very easy to use. It's like you're using a Word document, but it's fully online and you can actually edit anything here. And also you have these comments here on the side which help you basically help you, you know, fill out anything else. Of course, you can get rid of these comments once you've done. So it's very actually easy to write and handle any of these documents. Okay, another thing that I wanted to show you is this risk register. So let me actually enlarge this again. Here you actually have a support in writing, in assessing listing all of the risks, and then assessing them and connecting them to controls. So for example, here you have this catalog of various assets, and then you simply click the ones that are applicable to you. Let's say that you have desktop computers and mobile devices, that you have some kind of I don't know, third-party custom-made software and so on. And then when you go next, you will see that software automatically suggests what kind of vulnerabilities you might have for each of these. And then let me just pick one and then just to move on next. And then you will actually see for each of them related threats. So basically it's very easy using these catalogs to actually move on and list all of your risks. Now if I went further, then in evaluation the software will ask you, to assess the likelihood and the impact, and then for each of these risks that are not acceptable, then it would suggest appropriate controls. So basically, it takes you step by step and speeds the things up. Okay, now going back to my presentation, let me just go back here. What I didn't show is that basically then you can list all the tasks that are let's say assigned, because whenever you write a new document, whenever you do some things in Conformio, it actually lists all the tasks that you have to do. So it's very easy to see whatever tasks are made for a particular person. Now I have to emphasize here that some things cannot be automated. So please don't think that you can do everything automatically through Conformio, because this is not true. And I'll tell you why some things cannot be automated, why you actually need humans do certain things. For example, human beings need to, the managers within the company need to make decisions, right? And these decisions are, for example, what is the level of impact, what is the level of likelihood. And this is something that is unique for each company. And basically this needs to be a decision of let's say, asset owner or a risk owner. And this is something that really a software cannot do. Also, the software will suggest you which controls to apply, but ultimately the decision whether, for each control, whether it's applicable or not, this is something, again, that managers within the company need to make these decisions. Also, the approvals, Conformio will help you write documents, but it cannot approve the documents for you. Again, this is something that your CEO or someone in the company needs to approve these documents and basically tell everyone that you need to comply with all of these documents. Also, approval of risks, right? So there are residual risks which need to be approved. This is something that, Conformio will list you residual risks, but risk owners or the senior management needs to approve these risks. And most importantly, you have to perform all of these activities. So Conformio cannot, perform backup for you, right? You still have to do the backup. You still have to, approve the access to a certain systems, Conformio cannot do these things for you. So when it comes to this, let's say, operational things, this is something that you have to do regularly in your everyday job. And again, Conformio can help you with writing these documents, with helping this, creating this information security management system. But these things that are mentioned here are something that you have to do regularly as part of your everyday activities. Okay, there are a couple of links that we'll share now with you. The first one is an article. It's called "How to Automate ISO 27001 Security Policy." So here you will learn a little bit more about how you can actually use Conformio to write these documents. A second link is how to speed up actually ISO 27001 risk assessment and treatment. And this is a YouTube video. So if you prefer to watch these videos, then you can actually click this second link in, and it shows you very nicely how actually you can go through this whole risk register. I mean, I've briefly shown you today, but it's in much more detail in this video. The third link here is this. It shows you this statement of applicability in Conformio. I actually didn't show you. I can show you this later on on the screen now. But basically, it's also this video shows you in more detail how this statement of applicability works. And finally, there is an article how to save time using ISO 27001 tools. So this is an article on Advisera website. It shows you actually, basically what are the techniques for saving time. Let me just briefly go through this statement of applicability here. So as you can see, once you complete this risk register, then this statement of applicability automatically populates, and it gives you, as you can see here, automatically there is an automatic reference to these risks here. So this is something that happens automatically, and also statement of applicability automatically suggests you what is the implementation methods, and then opens particular tasks or refers to particular documents that you will need to do this. So for example, you'll have inventory of information and other associated assets. You have these two risks which are relevant. You also have this contractual requirements, and then you have these two policies which regulate, and also this comment that all assets are displayed in the risk register. So basically everything is coming together in this statement of applicability, and most of these things are done here automatically. And you also see this status here. So basically it's the status here is implemented. So whenever you mark a particular document as approved, then this automatically shows as a status in statement of applicability as well. Okay, going back to the presentation. Now, the question, on really how to get the support from the senior management, and I mean, there are a couple of most common challenges. First is that you have to actually find enough resources in terms of money and people. Second challenge is that you have to somehow stimulate the senior management to participate in these management reviews. And also the problem is very often that the senior management doesn't have the knowledge about cybersecurity and ISO 27001. So basically, how did we tackle these problems in Conformio? Let me go back again to Conformio. One of the things is that we already provided this project plan, and through this project plan it becomes much clearer for the senior management on what exactly is expected in terms of resources, right? Because when you come to your senior management with a concrete plan of what you need, then it's much more likely that the senior management will approve this kind of thing. I mean, this kind of, let's say, this kind of requirements for resources. Because if you come to them without any concrete plan, then this is where problems might start. Second thing is that when it comes to senior management, they have to participate in this management review. If this is, let's say, kind of too chaotic, if they don't see all the inputs, then this could also be a problem. And there is a different module in Conformio which actually helps you with this management review. So basically it's also, I would say, semi-automated, not fully, because again, the decisions on the management review need to be made by the senior management. And when it comes to this knowledge about cybersecurity in 27001, again, you can use Company Training Academy, you know, with all the all of these videos that shows exactly what is needed. And I'll show you very briefly how you can actually set up a new training. So when you go here, you say set up new training, you select the framework, and then you basically say, okay, which training do you want? And then you say, okay, I want ISO 27001 training for senior management. And then what the system will do, it will it first ask you which country you want, so which language do you want, and then it will automatically suggest you the videos that are relevant, the most relevant for senior management. Because in general, when you're setting up a training, you have to make sure that you pick the right topics for the right audience, because otherwise, if you have a mismatch, then these people will simply not go for this. So as you can see, what is 27001, the benefits, leadership and commitment, top level policy, setting the objectives, risk treatment plan, monitoring, measurement, management review, internal audit. So basically, these are the most important things that senior management needs to know. They don't need to know, you know, how to do the risk assessment or about statement of applicability. But these things, you know, what is the purpose of the internal audit, they do need to know, because this directly applies to them. It's not like they will perform the internal audit, no, but they need to know exactly what are the outputs from the internal audit, because this is something that they will read during the management review. Okay. Anyway, let me move back to the presentation. Again, some Conformio features here. So as I mentioned, reduce the amount of required resources. Okay, this is a project plan, management review, automation, and training and awareness. This is what I've shown you. Okay, a couple of, one link more to show you. This is an article called Getting Top Management Buy-in for ISO 27001 online software. So you'll see this article now. Let me move forward with the presentation. Let's see what is typically this, why this employee resistance usually happens. The first one is that usually these standards are, well, too complex. It's simply that people that, let's say, have this, that are unfortunate enough that they have to read the standards, they are, you know, pretty, I would say, baffled when they start reading this, because it's not really clear what you have to do with this. So one problem is with the complexity. The other problem is with the overhead. So very often companies actually, especially smaller companies, try to go for let's say too complex policies, too lengthy policies that are not really applicable to what they need. And then they actually start doing some activities which are not really needed. Because when you look at it, ISO 27001 doesn't really tell you how to implement security. It tells you only that you have to perform risk assessment, and then that you actually have to judge on your own how your implementation needs to look like. Just to give you an example, ISO 27001 does not tell you how often you need to do the backup, okay? There is no such requirement, which is logical. Different systems will need to have different, let's say, periods of backup, and of course, companies of different sizes will have different backup systems. So it doesn't make sense for a standard to prescribe these things, which means actually that you are writing your own rules, and if you want to avoid overhead, then do not write things that do not make sense, right? So if you're a smaller company, if there are no larger risks, then it might make sense actually for you to do the backup, I don't know, once a day for your main systems, and then you can write it like this. I mean, why would you write that you have to do the backup every 1 hour when you can actually do it every 24 hours? This third cause is really that this employees very often consider that cybersecurity is not actually part of what they need to work. So this is something that where you actually have to explain that and raise awareness why actually cybersecurity is part of everyone's work, because I mean everyone uses I don't know, laptops or smartphones, and again they have to protect these devices against various cyber threats. So how does Conformio help you with this? First of all, our main let's say mission here in Advisera is to simplify things, and Conformio is also going along this line. So we try to simplify everything that could be simplified, and basically provide guidance for anything here. So if I can just show you the how this looks like in Conformio. For example, I mentioned this document, I think this is backup policy here, right? So when you scroll through this backup policy, you will see it's pretty simple. It doesn't have too much text. So for example, you have this backup plan for different systems. You have some rules, and then you have restoration procedures, backup protection, operational procedure, logging, testing backup copies, and basically this is it. It doesn't go too much more into detail because it's not really necessary. So if you keep things simple, and if we provide enough explanations here, which we do through these comments, then it's much easier actually for you to implement everything. And this is how you overcome a part of this problem of resistance of employees. The second let's say thing that we do here is that we have this lean approach. This lean approach is basically a kind of a philosophy that we always try to go for the minimum, because in my I would say strong opinion is that the biggest enemy of security is complexity. You know, and this is because some people think that you know, the more detailed procedure that you write, your security will be better. And I don't share this opinion. I think that the more detailed your documents are, the more complex these documents are, less people will actually follow them. So as a consequence of very detailed documents, you actually have a less security, because they are simply too complex. So what I'm in favor of is really this, following this lean approach, where you go for the minimum, but this minimum then in this minimum you actually focus on the most important things. And actually Conformio is built around this idea of a lean approach, and basically this is why it's focused on smaller companies, because these smaller companies are, I would say, the ones where you actually have to apply this lean approach the most. And by the way, I explain what I mean by this lean approach in this course that I do, online course that I do for consultants. It's the course is called How to Grow Your Cybersecurity ISO and AI Consultancy, and this is an advanced course. And there I have one lesson where I explain this logic of lean approach. So if you're a consultant, if you actually already have some experience in consulting, you can take a look at this course. And by the way, it's a free course. You can sign up and learn how to improve your business. Okay, and last thing that I think it's important when it comes to employee resistance is that you actually provide them with some cybersecurity awareness. Of course, you can raise awareness through, I don't know, sending some emails, through, I don't know, meetings, live meetings with them. But you can also actually do this online training, awareness training for them. And this is also part of this company training academy that I've shown you. There are several awareness videos there that you can also use. Okay, we'll also share now with you a link to an article called How Online Software Helps Gain Employee Buy-in. So you can also take a look at this article just to get some idea on on basically how you can actually gain employees. I mean, how we can overcome this problem with employees. Okay, now when it comes to lack of money, of course we cannot we can help you actually. I mean, Conformio can help you spend less time there and less the resources from that end, but we cannot really go much further than that. What we actually did with pricing, actually let me show you the screen with the pricing. Let me see where this is. Okay, so it's here. When you actually go to this Conformio product page, when you scroll down, you will see, let me find it, it's here. Okay, pricing and features. So basically the prices are 150 as the minimum per month, and actually this biggest plan is $300 per month. You can also pay annually, then you save something like, I don't know, what, 4 months, something like this. And what I'll show you now is this comparison of all features. So here actually you have to click this compare all features to open this. And here you will actually see what is included in each of these plans. Anyway, when it comes to pricing, we intentionally didn't go too high with these prices because we wanted to make this product, I would say, affordable for smaller companies. Again, this Conformio product is not really intended for companies that are, let's say, larger than 200 employees. But if you are up to 200 employees, this is exactly the target audience that we go for, because both with this pricing and with this lean approach, I think this is the right, I would say, measure for these companies. And yeah, some people are asking me what is the minimum amount of the employees. So we have some clients which have 1 or 2 employees, and they still can use Conformio and implement the standard. Anyway, I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but I just wanted to show you that, of course, this biggest plan called Advanced Plan, it actually has unlimited number of users, unlimited number of risks, and so on. What I also wanted to show you here, yeah, is this support that I mentioned. So basically, if you go for this larger plan, you have 1 hour per month of these consultations with an expert. You have this pre-audit check, and if you hover here, you will see an explanation of all of these things. And for this training, this security awareness training for employees, actually this is included in this professional plan. As you can see, up to 20 users, and if you go for this advanced plan, then up to 50 users is included in this this training and awareness is basically the training academy, the training platform that I was showing you. Okay, there are some other things here and so on. Okay, going back to my presentation. Yeah, so I think I covered all of these things. So basically this price includes all the templates, step-by-step wizard automation, support from experts, and 27,000 training. So the first 3 bullets, templates and wizard and automation, this is covered in all plans, whereas this expert and support and training, this is in the second and the third plan. Okay, we'll share now with you this link to Conformio, and if you noticed, you can actually open a free trial there. I think it's something like 14 days, so you can open a free trial account, and basically you can test everything that I was showing you. Okay, let me see. Yeah, we'll also share now with you this link to this article. It's called How to Save Money Using Online ISO Management Tools. So you can also open this article and read a little bit more. Now, let me just show briefly how Conformio is relevant for consultants. And actually, let me start with a question here. So are these kind of tools actually taking work away from consultants? Because you might think, okay, if Conformio and similar tools actually are doing everything for clients, isn't this really killing the market for consultants? And actually, the answer is no. Because we have quite a lot of consultants that are using Conformio, and basically they use this Conformio as I would say a consultant accelerator, right? And by what do I mean by this consultant accelerator? So consultants can actually use Conformio and add value for their clients, because they actually reduce the time that is needed for consultants to actually do. Because if you're a consultant, if you're not using any kind of a tool, then you would have to do, let's say, risk register manually. Okay, so you would have to, I don't know, manually list all the risks, all the assets, and then manually figure out what are the threats and vulnerabilities. I mean, this takes a lot of time. And by the way, if you do it manually, you have to charge more to your client, which means that you're not as competitive as some consultant that is using a tool. And because they're using a tool, they actually spend less time and they can actually charge a smaller price. So actually, if you use this kind of a tool, you're not only, let's say, reducing the amount of effort that is needed for you as a consultant, but it also actually makes you more competitive. Interpreting the context to explain everything better. I mean, again, we invested lots of time in Conformio to actually educate, but you can't do everything there. You still need some, let's say, human touch there, and this is exactly what consultants can do on top of Conformio when they use Conformio. And yeah, I mean, helping with business transformation. And what I mean by this, ISO 27001 as a project is a change management project when you think about it, because you actually introduce some new policies and procedures, meaning you're implementing some new rules. So you're expecting the employees to change how they behave. I mean, change how they, I don't know, do the backup, change how they approve access to new systems, change how they, I don't know, they develop software in a more secure way. And this change management is hard. It's not very easy. And I mean, a software cannot do this for you. I mean, it's a human issue where you actually need a human touch for someone actually to lead this change. And this is exactly what consultants can actually do as their, I would say, added value when they run this kind of project, and where they can actually add value on top of what Conformio does. So in any case, I would say that GRC tools are not taking away the market from consultants. Rather, they actually are becoming essential tool for consultants if they want to remain competitive. Okay, now when it comes to Conformio, what Conformio does is there are actually special features of Conformio for consultants, and let me show you what this means. So basically here you have this dashboard, which is a consultant dashboard, and it actually shows you all the clients that you have in Conformio. So you don't need to create separate accounts for each of your clients. Rather, you're actually having one account, and then in this dashboard you actually see all of your clients and the status. So for example, here you have one company which did almost nothing, where they did not really progress with Conformio, but there is this other company which progressed very good. Okay, and you can actually see in this dashboard the portfolio of your clients and actually how far did you get with each of these clients. And not only this, you will actually see a list of all your consultants. So you might have one consultant within your company. Let's say that this is only yourself. But you might have, I don't know, 10 consultants that work in your company. In this case, you will actually see the performance of each of these consultants within your company in this dashboard. So if you are, let's say, the owner of this consultancy, it's very easy actually to handle several several consultants and several clients. Okay, there is also a white label version if you want. So if you need actually your logo to show for your clients, this is also something that we enable in Conformio. Okay, now what we will do is we'll share now with you this link to this Conformio for consultants. And actually this is a page where we display what are the most important features of this Conformio for consultants. And we also share now with you a YouTube video which actually explains in more detail how actually Conformio for consultants helps them with their job for 27001. So you will see this, you can actually click this video and see the details for yourself. All right, now, so let me just make a short conclusions and then we'll go for the Q&A session. So, when we built Conformio, we tried to figure out what are the biggest challenges these smaller companies have, and then build this kind of a GRC tool or software that actually, provides a clear implementation path, automates lots of tasks, provides all the documents, and basically provides all the know-how, all the knowledge that is needed. And I mean, now we actually have both end clients and consultants using Conformio. And by the way, we can actually, we'll share now with you another two links with testimonials. So if you want to see some testimonials from our end clients, but also from consultants, you'll see now two videos, links to these YouTube videos, and basically you'll hear what these users are saying about Conformio. And yeah, again, if you want to test this out, you can use the link that we shared with you for Conformio. But if you want, actually, you can schedule a call with our Conformio expert, product expert, and he will actually show you, he will actually make a demo for you. So you can test it out in two ways. You can open a free trial account yourself, or you can schedule a demo with our Conformio product expert. It's really up to you what you do. And here now you have in the links, you have this a link for scheduling a call. Okay, good. Now let me move on now to a questions and answer session. So by all means, please do send me your questions and I'll answer them now. Before I start answering your questions, there's just a couple of notes. First of all, feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any questions, and you can use this email address that you can see on the screen now. Second, you can follow me on LinkedIn and on YouTube. So on LinkedIn, I publish... let me just switch my screen so that you can see my presentation. Sorry, I didn't actually switch back. Okay, very well. So you can see the Q&A now. You can follow me on YouTube and LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, I publish regularly all kinds of materials related to ISO 27001. I also publish some news related to cybersecurity compliance and governance. So if you want to keep in touch, you can follow me on LinkedIn. And on YouTube, I publish all these kind of videos, and we've shared some of these videos today. If you're a consultant, you can actually find on my YouTube profile also this Secure and Simple podcast. And this is where I interview successful consultants, and there you can actually learn how to become a successful consultant yourself. And the third thing that I wanted to let you know is that my next webinar next Monday will be about how to set the ISMS scope according to 27001. And there I'll present, I'll give you some suggestions on should you go for your whole company in the scope or just part of your company, how to deal with these dependencies and interfaces, how to protect the data if it is out of the scope, or these kind of things. And now you can see the links towards these webinars in the chat window. Okay, good. Now, I have a couple of questions I received before the webinar, and I also have a couple of questions now during the webinar. So let me start with these questions before the webinar. So a question I received from Labib, automation of internal audit. What is the most challenging phase? Well, first of all, some things can be automated in internal audit, some things cannot. I'll start with things that you cannot automate, at least so far you can't, and this is basically where you do really the audit itself. So when you actually have to check if the employees are performing all the tasks that they should be doing, this is something that you really have to check in most cases manually. You'll have to find some evidence, but you'll have to interview them, and so far this is done by the auditor manually. What you can automate is basically creation of the checklist. And this is something that actually Conformio does. So based on all the documents that you have written in Conformio, it actually creates this checklist automatically. So I hope this answers your questions. Jose was asking how to finalize the statement of applicability and ensure that Conformio recognizes that controls are implemented. As I've shown briefly on the screen, when you do statement of applicability, you have to take into account the results of the risk assessment and treatment, and from identified requirements for interested parties. So basically you have to take these inputs, they make a conclusions which controls are applicable and which are not. Basically Conformio does this automatically, and Conformio also recognizes if you already implemented certain control by means of, let's say, marking the task as completed, or by marking a certain document as approved. In this case is actually in statement of applicability, these controls will be marked as implemented. So this is how this automation works there. Question from 𝗂𝗲𝗶𝘀𝗀. advice on implementing ISO 27001 for a small organization with as few policies and documents as possible. Well, the advice basically there is that you should go for with this lean approach for the minimum amount of documents. So don't write, I don't know, 50 documents when you can write 15, right? Don't write documents of, I don't know, 10 pages when you can write documents of 2 pages. This is basically what I think is the most important. Bill was asking how to do security audit on cloud security application like Azure or AWS. First of all, it's important to understand that security audits of suppliers are not mandatory. So the standard 27001 does not say that you must do them. It says that you actually have to consider if these audits of suppliers are necessary. So for example, let's say that you have outsourced your software development to, let's say, a company, and that they develop some very specific and very sensitive type of software. In this case, you actually might decide that you really need to do this audit of your supplier because this is so sensitive that you really have to keep a close eye on it. On the other hand, you might have, let's say, you might be using, I don't know, let's say Gmail. And yes, you might have this kind of very sensitive information there, but you basically say, okay, I'm trusting Gmail, I'm trusting Google, and I'm not going to perform an audit there because I have enough trust in this company not to perform this audit. So I hope this answers your question. So basically, if you really see a huge need for controlling your supplier, then you perform an audit. If you do not see this need, then you are not going to perform an audit. In some cases, you're simply going to trust a certain supplier because of their, let's say, existing position in the market and existing, let's say, controls that they have. Okay, Raid was asking, since this is our first time building an ISMS, I would like to know how to start with the risk analysis, what recommendations you have, and what common issues you should avoid based on your previous experiences. Again, if you're doing this for the first time, if you're a smaller company, then my most important advice here is, don't complicate it. Don't create, I don't know, let's say that you are, let's say, that you have 20 employees. You don't have to identify, I don't know, 2,000 risks. I mean, it's possible to reach a number of 2,000, maybe even more for such a small company, but I mean, you don't really need this. You can pass the certification with identifying, I don't know, 100 risks. 100, maybe 200 risks, and you can go for, let's say, the easiest scales like high, medium, and low. You don't have to use scales from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 because it doesn't really, you don't really need these scales for impact and likelihood. So simplify things, go with this lean approach. This is basically what I see is the most important. Okay, let's see a couple of questions that came in during the webinar. A question from Kozawa: where in the standard would you say the consultant is needed the most? Well, I would say that you actually have to show to the clients all the implementation steps. You have to help them with these most complex tasks like risk assessment and these kind of things, and writing documents and training the employees. So without thinking this too much, I think these kind of things are the most important ones for when doing the consultancy. And by the way, if you are actually a new consultant, there is another course that I'm doing, and this is a beginner's course for consultants. And we'll share now with you the link for this beginner's course. So if you're just starting your career in consulting, you can actually go for this course. Another question from Kozawa: how long does it take to get Conformio certified? I assume that you're asking, if you're using Conformio, how long does it take to get certified? This depends on the size of the company. If your company is like, I mean, if your client company, or if you're doing this for your company, if you're like, I don't know, 10, 20 employees, that this is usually 3 months. If you are like 50, 100 employees, this is usually 3, 4, 5 months. If you're, let's say, 200 employees, this probably goes 5, 6 months or so. Okay, a question from Aju: is there any option in Conformio to keep department data separate, for example, risk register? Yes, there is actually an option in risk register to mark which department, to which department an asset belongs to. Matt is asking, is Conformio useful for those that have already implemented 27001 and are certified? Is it good for ongoing ISMS maintenance and improvements? So yes, there is a module in Conformio that covers this maintenance. I didn't actually show you this, but there is this, and basically tells you exactly what things you need to do. However, if you didn't use Conformio for implementation, I'm not really sure if you can actually use this if you already implemented the standard before and now you want to use Conformio only for maintenance. I'm not sure if this would be an optimal experience. This would basically mean that you would have to upload all of your documents, all of your risks into Conformio, and this would be a big effort. So again, it would be nice for me to say yes, but you know, knowing what kind of effort is needed to, let's say, set this initial state in Conformio, I'm not sure if this is a good option for companies that are already certified. Okay, good. Now we're out of time, so let me wrap up the webinar very quickly. So again, this 1 hour webinar was intended to give you an overview, but not really to teach you everything how to implement ISO 27001. But of course, you can use Conformio and sign up for this free trial just to test how this works. And regarding this PDF presentation deck, we will actually publish a link where you can download this PDF presentation deck. And if you're joined through Zoom, then we will send you this link through email, and you will receive this email by tomorrow morning. But if you joined through LinkedIn or YouTube, then this link you will see on the same page where you're watching the live webinar now. Just maybe wait for something like 10 minutes, and then you will see this this link in the comment section. So just hold on to the same page, you will see all these links there. And yeah, you'll also see a link to the short survey. It's very short, only 3 questions. So if you have time, please fill out the survey so that you give me some feedback on how I'm doing. And basically this will be all. Thank you very much for your participation, and I hope